everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And we are still in our month of New Year, New No. We talked a little bit about receiving. We explored the idea around setting down our burdens temporarily. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about saying yes. So I certainly am not trying to skirt around the theme by not addressing the concept of saying no. But I don't know, I just sort of felt like exploring it in those different contexts first. But it feels right to come around to it now. Now, there is the very literal concept of saying no when you are asked to do something or something is asked of you and you don't feel like you have the interest or the sort of the resources, you could even say the mental bandwidth to respond with a yes to whatever that request is. And so the idea behind that, of course, is acknowledging that, and even though it's harder to say no, instead allowing yourself to do it and kind of, it's almost like, I don't know, it's not a great metaphor, but ripping off the Band-Aid. You're ripping off the Band-Aid first, as opposed to slowly peeling it off and making it more painful in the long run. In some ways, when we say yes to the things that we really don't want to, simply said, it can, unfortunately, kind of draw out the suffering, even though we, did say yes for whatever reason. So I feel like all of this is pretty straightforward. It's pretty clear. I was trying to think about like another way of looking at it. I mean, you've heard me say in the past, when you say no to one thing, that gives you the space and the energy to say yes to something else, which of course is what we were talking about last week. So, I mean, really what it comes down to is, in some ways, just getting more practice at saying no. And, you can certainly try and attempt to do so in a way that's more gracious. But honestly, the last thing I'll say about this is I really do feel like there's been so much conversation just in, everyday worlds about mental health and, the value of, self-care and all of that kind of stuff. But really what that's about is everybody gets it. And everybody probably would benefit from saying no more. So if someone's making a request of you and it's just not something you want to do and it doesn't resonate and it doesn't fuel you and all of that stuff, I think when you say no, it won't necessarily be all that surprising. The only thing that might be surprising to that person is that they may be more accustomed to you saying yes, and therefore it's odd. But there's so much conversation, just, like I said, in social media and entertainment, whatever, around this conversation of mental health, that I think if you just say something along those lines, like I just don't have, the resources, the capacity, the time, I mean, who's going to argue with that? I mean, somebody will, of course, but the point being, I think people know, and maybe in this day and age, maybe it's not as hard to say no as it used to be. I don't know. I'm going to reflect on that myself, actually. But a little bit of a twist on a pretty straightforward idea that, I don't know, I just wanted to put it out there. Another meandering one today. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and do our meditation. And since I'm meandering slightly, I think I'm just going to go for a silent one this time, if that's cool with you. But let's just sit together for about 10 minutes. I will do very, kind of minimalist checking in just to bring you back if you find that useful. But definitely not so much on the leading you through from the beginning to end with too much direction. Oh, crap. Sorry, I totally hit the wrong one. Come on. Here we go. One more time. All right, let's go ahead and sit. Noticing where the mind is now. And if it's wandered into thought, just allowing yourself to gently escort your attention back to the present, whatever anchor you are resting your awareness on. Let's settle back in. Allow our attention to truly rest and take a break from all the thinking and imagining and worrying that we often do. Continuing to rest in awareness, ground ourselves to the present moment. And even if it feels like your practice has been nonstop thinking with a few glimmers of presence, which can very frequently be the case, remembering that you're still benefiting from this time in practice, even if the practice itself doesn't necessarily feel terribly relaxing or rejuvenating. It'd be nice if it were, but the benefits will still be there, even if it feels like you've been all over the place. So let's finish it out in the time that remains until we hear the bell. 10 minutes. I'm not even going to try to summarize. You know, it's about saying no. You know. As always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.